Okay, so we had technical difficulty when we had technical difficulty early on, and yeah, that really messed up the. I had to shut my PC down and everything, but now we're back. Now we're back. So like I was saying, we engaged here. We've got this fair value gap that we're actively in. We've got this fair value gap up here. We do have this market structure shift, but I did tell you guys I don't trust the 4 hour. I don't. I really not the 4 hour, but I don't trust high time frame market structure shifts such as like the hourly and the 4 hour, because I don't really think realistically price could move that far down without really making drastic decisions. Excuse that. Now here on the hourly, we got this Asia low. Just put that there. Got this Asia low, Asia high so far. Let's print that 2 o'clock candle. See where we're going in terms of things. Price action is really choppy on this day. Alright, we do have this break above, but there was no prior liquidity taken, so it's not of much interest. I think watching out just for this fair value gap is the best we can do as it stands. I think this is one of those trades where like price will rebalance the range. Okay, so seems that we take this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Price moved a bit too quickly there. In times like this, when the price action is a bit sketchy, I much more rely on 5 minute levels. Alright, -2 deviation is about to get taken anyway. That's where 350 was just born. Okay, it mised the take profit zone. It's questionable. There are 2 take profits here, and then it goes back for whatever is in there in that 5 minute. So, well, this is honestly not a favorable trade in my opinion. Right? Okay, it takes liquidity. That's great. It arranges, and then it's shift direction. So I think there was like a good liquidity sweep here. Yep. Can we get a market structure shift above that? Perfect. So now we want to see what kind of PA price wants to print. From here, I want to be watching the, okay, Asia eyes is the objective. You see, this is what I like when things align. You know what I mean? So let's see if 450 is going to print something nice in terms of PA. Okay, we got that break above. This is a inversion, but it's super tiny. You can barely notice it. I think we're gonna take longs off of here. Obviously, it'd be hard to notice in a live market. You would probably rely on this. You see this break of structure right here, that retest on that. That is what you would probably rely on, but that's really early for me. But knowing the bias already should be more than enough to give you the confidence on it. Let's see what it wants to print now. Okay, so it's printing PA. And we're taken out. Obviously sad, obviously sad. I believe if you, yeah, we did kind of ignore that. There was an engagement on this gap over here. But then again, I did say that we don't want to be printing many deviation legs, right? I think this was the fairest deviation leg of them all. And the entry was just not optimal. I think leaving the 450, leaving the 450 macro is the best. You know what I mean? Like not engaging after that. But again, you don't want to be trying to over understand why your trade went wrong. For me, the conditions were met. There was a good liquidity sweep, right? Especially here, it was a good sweep of that low right there. It's on an hourly level, so it's not also too significant. Maybe also paying attention to this hourly close here on the 3 would have given us a good understanding that we don't want to be overruling bearish PA. So this take here, very important, right? That obviously printed the leg for this deviation, which was later taken out over here. So, right, again, it's the same lesson as last time. You don't want to overrule. You don't want to overrule high time frame PA. You always want to be consulting high time frame PA if you want to stay on the right side of the market. Now this is 8 o'clock. Let's just move a time frame up. 8 o'clock. What do you got for us? Okay, this is what I like to see. Obviously, we took out that 4-hour low. Again, we want to be consulting the high time frame. Fair value gap. This was this is close, but not beyond. I'd much rather, not much rather, but I'd probably anticipate it's gonna rebalance this breaker, and with enough PA take out this high, and with enough PA take out London high, because we have swept obviously a higher time frame external price action, and judging by the close, this is gonna close at 45. It's gonna be a bullish candle with a -2 deviation that is far above. So I would much rather cool down to a more relatable level, like maybe the 5 minutes. 5 minutes is very relatable. Seeing that this trade is also long, I'd much rather trust the 5 minutes as well. Alright, so I would take longs from this fair value gap on this low, aiming for that -2. Well, -2 is a bit over ambitious. I think station highs is good. Oh no, -2 is not too ambitious. It's Asia highs. And then does the 3-minute offer like a refined? No, not refined SLs. So we kind of have to take it at this extent. Place order, place it right there. Just see how that goes. And that's straight to SL, bro. So it seems like this 15-minute fair value gap just overrode the entire thing. It's just overrode the entire thing. Again, this is one of those setups where like conditions were met, but price action had other plans. Who knows? Maybe trusting this close is a good idea. Right? But it's also not entirely a good idea because there are situations, but I think those situations differ. Right? The situation, for example, the high gets taken, and then no, that's not the example I'm talking about. The example I'm talking about is this one, where candle gets closing above, but then it closes back within like a respectable range. That shows that like there's obviously buy pressure and immediate sell pressure, whereas this one, despite it not closing below, it still has sell pressure, right? Obviously shown by the down close candle. But again, I don't want to be over justifying, because when you justify one setup and the next setup differs, then your mind doesn't know what's going on anymore. So you don't want to over justify. You just want to trust your model and trust that this is something that happens. Okay. Over here, we are in the middle of nowhere. I don't like referring to price action as too old. So we're going to rely on what's with us. Okay. Market structure shift, bullish fair value gap, close above, although a bit weak. That rejection close below, indicating to us that we are not too interested in bullish price action. So let's just keep our eyes open, our eyes peeled. These are the most common, the most recent high and low that we can possibly take out. We engage in that 15, in that hourly fair value gap, so we might be bullish on the day. Let's just watch what price action wants to do. It takes out that Asia low that is very much near us. Okay, it ranges. Okay, it's presenting us with something. As you can see, takes out its own low. Question is, can it close above? It does close above. Right, takes out its own low. Can it close above? It closes above. Would I be ambitious and say that I want longs to that high? Well, in order for us to go short, we do have to go long, but the RR is not favorable. So I'd much rather watch what this outcome will be. Okay, that's perfect. All right, it takes out the high clean. Maybe the mistake was not referring to this deviation over here. Right, -2 would have probably presented something. Yeah, like there's a fair value gap. Right, let's see if price would have reached it. Yep, price would have reached it. That's perfect. Right, so yeah, these are days where you might not trust yourself, like myself. Might not trust yourself. You do have that bullish fair value gap. You do also have this break of structure that occurred prior to the tap, which is perfect because for a PDRA to really work properly, I much rather trust break of structures first. And there's a good chance we may have not been tagged at that. We may have also just been tagged at the fair value gap instead. You know, like I said, price always goes for the closest PDRA, so it would have been much smarter to do that. On the 5 minute, what did we see on the 5 minute? 5 minute, we saw the sweep over here, right? It was actually a 15-minute sweep, to be honest. It was a 15-minute sweep, but we love 5-minute levels, confirmation levels. And there was obviously that break of structure on the 5 minute. Then there was this low that was taken by itself. And then we obviously referred to consulting the 3 minute. Oh, this all happened within a fair value gap. Was the 50% respected? I think, to some extent, yeah, to some extent it was respected, right? Yeah, to some extent, we did have the bodies doing a bit of damage, right? But it was a close in, close out again, and it wasn't obviously in macro time, so you wouldn't, if you were someone who would take the trade here, it would work, right? The 50%, and then you put your SL at the low. But obviously, if you're waiting for 350, then you're on the right track, right? So here we have the break above. 350 prints this candle. After 350 prints this candle, there's more confidence given the break of structure. The fair value gap gives you a great entry. It's all at the lows. And yeah, aiming for -2 deviation. -2 deviation, in my opinion, wouldn't be on the 15-minute, wouldn't be so confident. I would look on the 5 minute. Again, there's a 5-minute gap. So -2 to 2.5, I would aim for the 50%. And you would get a nice 3.6 RR. And that's pretty much how I'm gonna wrap up this session. Right, again, the P&L is not the best. Obviously, I would be more critical on a live account, but I'm satisfied with the overall progress. Remember, we are here to learn from backtesting. This win rate and these things don't really matter much, right? Unless I'm actually actively trying to measure my win rate. But in these lectures, we're trying to observe the changes that we need to take in order to become better traders. So it's kind of like I'm still refining my model, right? But slowly but surely, I am finding the edge in the model, and I think I'm finding what actually makes it tick, and it's lovely, right? 3 losses, 1 win. Account for the trades not taken. This could possibly just balance out, right? I think we took 2 trades that we didn't take that did TP, so that would have been, yeah, it would have been 3 on 3 with a 50% win rate, right? But the P&L wouldn't look too high or too low. But with all honesty, I like it. I like it. I like where we're going. I like what we're doing. And yeah, if you guys appreciated the video, do drop a like. Like I said, I don't even expect these videos to be online or to be watched by anyone, but if it does get watched, I appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.